So how can Congress keep writing this off as a manufactured crisis? Joining me now is the Director of Urban Engagement at Turning Point USA, Brandon Tatum, and Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright. Thank you both for joining us so early this morning. Appreciate it.
Good morning.
All right, so Brandon, I will start with you. What do you think about the comments? I mean, the numbers are staggering. 4,000 arrests in one day on Monday, over 4,000 the next day on Tuesday. Clearly, there's an issue.
Right, and I would really hope and I wish that these politicians would stop being fake and really identify that this is a crisis. This is no longer considered illegal immigration. This is an invasion of our country. People are just scramming and running through our border, evading Border Patrol, depleting our resources. It is an emergency, and I think we need to take it seriously. And I believe most Americans understand that, but people in government positions need to get their stuff together and make sure we deal with this issue.
Antoine, it really is kind of mind-boggling how these statistics, these numbers keep coming up. We have leaders who are there on the border saying, hey, this is a serious problem, but that when you get to D.C., somehow the message is lost on a lot of Democrats.
Well, Heather, let's not confuse things. We all know that immigration is a major issue in this country. I think most polls would indicate it's at the top 2 or 3 things on people's minds, particularly those who would go to the polls. But what Democrats have said consistently is President Donald Trump's border wall is not an emergency. It is a crisis of convenience. Just like the migrant van, every time we get closer to an election, that is an emergency. 68% of the American people want to fix immigration reform, fix immigration in a bipartisan way. 68% think, or well over 68% think that Washington, D.C. should be doing it, but not a lot of people are in favor of Donald Trump's border wall.
Can I ask you a couple things, though, before we go to Brandon? 2 things that you said. Once you said that it was a crisis of convenience, certainly not a crisis of convenience to those individuals who are killed by illegal immigrants entering this country. Kate Steinle, Corporal Ronald Singh, that's just 2. The second thing I wanted to ask you about is you keep referring to it as Donald Trump's wall. And is that what part of the problem is with Democrats? Because they call it Donald Trump's wall, whereas before it's always been a wall that was needed that they voted in favor for before.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, to your first comment about people being killed. If you want to make that argument, then gun violence is a crisis in this country. Healthcare is a crisis in this country because people die from those things every single day. Number 2, Donald Trump's wall, because the Republican Party and the president have adamantly said this was his #1 campaign issue, and that's what he wanted. And so what Democrats have never been afraid of is saying, yes, we want border security. In fact, Pelosi and Clyburn and Schumer laid it out, especially what they want. What they said is let's fix the fencing, let's do a smart wall where it's convenience, and let's add more patrol units, let's add more judges, let's do all the things we need to fix it in a comprehensive way, and that's what Democrats have supported in the past.
And Brandon, that sounds like a lot of what President Trump has been talking about.
Well, I think what the gentleman is saying is Democratic talking points. They're not realistic. Okay, the facts of the matter are
what's not realistic?
We need to build a wall. We need to build a wall to secure our border, and then we can allocate resources to do other things. It's not realistic to run around and say we want to do something about the wall with open borders, but they have no solutions. Technology that they haven't been proven. They can't give you a Brandon,
know what they're you don't even about. Make sense
they're
what you're saying.
But Brandon, before you jump in, Antoine, Brandon, you've been to the border. You're there. You know what's happening.
I know exactly what happened. I patrolled in the southern Arizona. I understand how drugs, sex trafficking, all this stuff is coming right through. The Border Patrol agents are telling the American people that they need help and they need a wall. It can't be any more clear than that. Politicians have no idea what they're talking about. They're not there. They're not on the battlefield. These Border Patrol agents are. Local law enforcement are. Listen to these professionals. Give them what they need. It's not a Trump wall. It's an American wall that's going to protect our people and that's going to eliminate a lot of this border crossing and this criminal activity that's coming across the southern border.
Brandon, you don't make sense what you're saying. You don't think the Democrats in Congress have had experts come?
Make sense. I mean,
yeah, you don't. You never do.
Say I don't make sense.
You never do. You don't think Democrats in Congress have had experts come tell them that there are places along the border where you need new technology that has been tested and proven? You cannot put a border wall where there's water along the
They can
border.
talk
You don't
about
even
it.
make sense
They
what
can-
you're saying,
They can
Brandon.
talk about
Yeah,
it
okay.
all they want. They have done nothing.
I think it is a
President
good
Trump
question.
is the only one dedicated.
It is a good question. You know, Border Patrol, the Border Patrol chief saying we need a wall, but then
And he said
Democrats
we need more
ignoring
troops
it.
along the way,
It's
too,
a good
Heather.
question. All right, Brandon and Antoine, thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it.